What's up, everyone? You may be wondering, is Kurt in the back of his van? If you answered yes, you would be right. I am in the back of our van right now, and the reason is I want to ask you a question. Have you ever been in really bad traffic? All right. When I think about traffic, I think about back in South Africa on December 26th. Every single year, our family, the day after Christmas, would pack up our belongings and we would make a 12-hour drive from where we lived in Port Elizabeth, which is in the bottom of the continent of Africa. And we would drive 12 hours north to Johannesburg, all right, or Johannesburg for all of us Americans and how we pronounce it. Because on December 28th or 29th of each year growing up, we would go to something called MK Camp. All right. Now, as awesome as it sounds, it stands for Missionary Kid Camp. And so all the missionary kids in like the bottom half of southern Africa would, from like Malawi and Mozambique and all these places, Botswana, all over South Africa, we would come to Johannesburg for a camp, and we'd all get to hang out for that 1 week. It was like my most favorite part of the year. And but the drive up to Johannesburg was so crazy. And my family, if you don't know this about my family, but my mom and dad, really my mom, made a song for everything. All right. So anything she wanted us to remember, whether it was a Bible verse, or we would sit around in South Africa at the table, and she was worried that we would never know anything about America. So our placemats was the United States of America. And so we had a song of like remembering the states and the capitals, and I still didn't remember them. But anyway, so we had a song for our drive. And so we had 5 pit stops, all right, on the way to Johannesburg, and they all started with a K, all right, because it was all the stops, the cities started with a K for some reason. So it was like Cradock, Kroonstad. I actually can't remember the other 3, but anyways, so we would be driving, and I would always sit in the back seat. So I have 3 older sisters, so I'm the youngest boy, and so they always said I got the shaft by sitting in the back seat, but I kind of like the back seat. I could stretch out, and listen to music or irritate my sisters from they're sitting in the middle, so I'd mess with them. But I always remembered sitting here in the back seat, and when there was a traffic, where there was a traffic jam or there's a wreck on the road, I'm looking at this window right now, and it kind of brings me back to my childhood, and just looking out the window and just being totally stopped. And it's like, are we ever going to get going? And sometimes the traffic would be so bad that we would just have to like turn the car off. One of my funniest stories from driving to Johannesburg was I was sitting on this side of the window. Actually, maybe it was the other side. And I saw, we were pulling a trailer, and I saw a wheel just going out the window. Like this wheel just was like, and I said, "Hey, Dad, there goes our wheel." And he was like, "Son, what are you talking about?" And I said, "Literally, there goes our wheel off of our trailer." And lo and behold, our wheel fell off into the South African desert, and we had to pull over and in the middle of nowhere, and I had to wait. No cell phone or anything, and so we just had to wait. It was a crazy memory, but sitting here makes me think about that. And I finished reading the book of Job in my personal reading time, and I feel like Job experienced a lot of those just like roadblocks. So many of those moments where he's like, "Lord, what are you doing?" Because when I think about traffic, when I think about being stopped at a total standstill, I just am like, okay, I know I'm still on the road. I'm not where I'm supposed to be, but I'm just not even moving. Like, what's going on? And it made me think of this song. I actually don't even know the name of the song, but there's this lyric in the bridge, I believe, and it says, it's talking about, talking about us, talking about the Lord, and it says, "Hey, if you're not dead, then you're not done." All right. So it's like, hey, if you're not dead, then God's not done with you. if you're alive, you have breath in your lungs, then God has like a great purpose for your life. And so when it, or you feel like maybe you're on the side of the road of some things, or you maybe feel like you're like at a traffic stop, or you're stopped in traffic. Job is in this situation. Towards the end of the book and the last chapters of it, Job is finally like coming to the Lord and is like, God, like what's going on? And God comes to him. And this is basically what God says for a couple chapters. He starts going to Job and he's like, hey, do you control the weather? God says, hey, do you control how the fields work? Do you control the animals? Do you have dominion over the land? And goes through all these things. He talks about, one of my most favorite parts of that is when God says, hey, I have storehouses laden with snow. I have control over the weather. And I got to thinking, because Job eventually, at the end, he submits to God. And he says, God, I'm not here for your blessings. Like, I want you, God. Like, I submit to you. You are the authority. You are the good judge. And God ends up blessing Job twofold over. And that's not the end of every story. But what I saw in Job and what I see for us students, it's our second week in a row not being in the bubble, and that's super tough. But the thing is, God is calling us not to be in control of the circumstances, the things that are happening to us. He's called us to be faithful to him in our response. He's called us to submit to him in how we discipline ourselves each day to him. And I'm sitting here in the back of this van, and I'm trying to just be totally just stripped down, not trying to put on a cool Wednesday night, not trying to be someone I'm not. The reality is I love wearing hats. I don't know if you've noticed that about me. I love wearing hats. I'm not wearing a hat. I'm recording this Wednesday morning. This is actually, I'm doing one take. I'm not trying to like do multiple takes, because students, I just want to come to you right now and let you know that I'm frustrated too. Obviously I'm super bummed that we're not in the bubble again this week. Like I'm in quarantine right now on like day 9 or something, day 10. And I wish more than anything that we could be hanging out in the bubble tonight. We were supposed to be talking, I think today's November 11th. We were going to be talking about Joseph's brothers, Joe's bros, all right? And I was actually really most excited about this message. And so I didn't want to try and recreate this night on YouTube, but I just want to come to you just share from my heart that I feel like also that I'm in a traffic jam. I feel like I'm back in Africa on the side of the road with no tire on our trailer, and it's like, Lord, we're on a time like limit. Hey, this was a 5-week backwind series. We're supposed to be done on November 18th so we can do the next thing in December. And I feel like the Lord is just looking at me sometimes as a student pastor. Someone who, man, I don't have it all together, students. And I feel like the Lord looks at me sometimes because I'm a planner. I like to have a plan and live out that plan. I think he just chuckles a little bit at me. And he was like, oh, Kurt, you think you're going to be done with backwind on November 18th. That's hilarious. And so I've had to check my heart a lot over these past couple days because this is not really playing out how I wanted it to. But the reality is, that's a lot of this is not in my control. And so take heart, take courage, that, hey, I'm not, I just want you to hear, students, I want you to hear from me. I'm not just like happy that, I don't have to go to the bubble for 4 hours tonight. Like, I wish more than anything that I could be there with you guys. My heartbeat, my calling, the air I breathe, for Caroline and I, we want to be with you guys. And so we're praying and we're expecting that next Wednesday we're going to be there. And so I just want to, we've talked about traffic, we've talked about the trials, just the reality of being in a frustrating part of your journey and your walk and just your week with everything going on. And it's like, man, maybe Wednesday night was your beacon of hope every single week, and now this was taken away. And so I hope you're taking advantage of this time, maybe to get some homework done tonight, or maybe you can do some stuff with your life group tonight or this week and get together. Maybe that's not something you typically do, and so take advantage of how God could be using this time to stretch you to do something you would not have done. And so the last T, and I don't know why we're talking about T's tonight, traffic trials and triumphs. And so the triumphs, we've, Caroline and I have been here about a year now. I think November 14th was our first day. Anyways, and so I look back over this past year, and even though it's been tough, I think there is a lot to celebrate. There's a lot to be triumphant about. We've seen life change. We've seen many of you take next steps in your faith. I feel like we can all agree that many of you have had so much. I just swiped a text. Anyway, have had so much buy-in for the student ministry, and so I just want to celebrate you guys and let you know that even though this is not like this November is not like going as perfectly as we planned, that God is still on the move. Like, I don't see this as a loss. All right, this is just kind of a detour. And I'm so proud of you guys. I'm so proud of every single one of you. I'm not, I don't worry about, things that maybe we think we should be worrying about. Like, oh, if we don't meet this week, like, are students going to come back next week? I'm not worried about that because I know that you belong to North Star students, and that's awesome. And it's a privilege to be your student pastor. And I'm excited to be back next week. And so thinking back to this past spring with squads and all the fun stuff we did, and it was just that was probably just one of the highlights of my year, was getting to do squads with you all for the first time. And so just know that it's so fun getting to be your student pastor, and I can't wait to be back. And so just a couple, like 2 more minutes. I just want to let you know kind of where we're going for the next couple weeks. And so we're going to have our baptism celebration this coming Wednesday night next week. We're going to do our baptisms. We're going to have a special treat next Wednesday. That's going to be free for everyone. It's going to be super fun. And then we're going to be talking about Josiah. So we're going to be talking about Josiah next Wednesday. Then the next Wednesday will be Thanksgiving break, so you'll be with the fam. And then on December 2nd and December 9th, those are the last 2 Wednesdays of the year, we're going to finish our Backwind series. And so December 2nd, just let me go, I'm just saying it right now, has the potential to be a really big night for many of you. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, it's going to be a really heavy night, really heavy message, but I believe it's a strong word for every single one of us. And then on December 9th, going to be awesome. We're going to talk about the Israelites, and then that's also going to be our North Star students Christmas party, and it's going to be awesome. All right, and so I can't wait for that. So go ahead and get, whatever you want to dress up for Christmas, tacky, I don't know what we're going to do, but it's going to be great. And then I just want to give you a little teaser, just a little teaser of 2021. All right, we will be bringing back squads in February. And I'm so pumped for that. Without giving too much away, we're still doing squads. It's going to be crazy. But I feel like the Lord is going to take us on a journey in 2021, beginning with squads, in something that might be a definer for our student ministry. I think the Lord is going to be stirring something in 2021 through squads, through what we're going to be doing. And I think it might be taking our student ministry, taking all of our faith to the just not next level, but it's going to be elevating it in a way that maybe you've never done before. And I'm going to say what we're going to do together during squads, I've never done before in my life. As in student ministry, my 10 years of it. And so I'm super excited about it. All right. And then we've got camp coming up. We've already got the dates locked in. It's going to be incredible. And so students, I know it might feel like you're in a traffic jam right now, but just know that even through the trials, that there is things to be triumphant about, there's things to celebrate, and there's things to look forward to. All right. I can't wait to see you guys Sunday at church, and then next Wednesday in the bubble, baptism celebration. a lot of surprises, but also just the fact that we get to study God's word, worship, and fellowship together. I love you guys. I'll see you then.